Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. I am Mike Babicz, your host and the voice of the Wilmot Raceway and other area racing from time to time. To my right, your left, I guess, Jeremy Schroeder, who's going to be on a little bit later on with us when we talk some World of Outlaw and IRA 410 racing. I want to thank some of our season supporters here, John Hederline, attorney at law, Force One Performance, B&L Office Furniture that provides us with our set. And we appreciate all the help that Scott Carpenter gives us. Great Lakes Dragaway. We were up there live this last week, and we will be talking with John in a little bit, getting our Great Lakes Dragaway report. Also, Steve Sinclair and the Bumper to Bumper IRA Outlaw Sprint Cars, Wilmot Raceway. And we're going to be talking to Jenny, who's going to be joining us momentarily, talking about a lot of things happening at Wilmot Raceway in the next few days, on the track as well as off the track. Fox Lake Harbor, Richmond Hut Club, Midwest Motor Coach, Rob Olson and Olson Transportation, MLS Auto Clinic, Eddie and Debbie Boyd, Impressions Count. We thank Randy for their help. They put that sign together that's behind us there, the Bodycraft sign. And speaking of Bodycraft, Mark and Tony Maglio of Bodycraft. Weeby Waxon, Chad and his crew. Also, Buddies of McHenry. We do plan on going out and doing an on-site event there at some time this summer. Also, Covers of Paddock Lake. We've been there once, and we're probably going to be there again sometime in August. Also, A-Main Apparel and Diecast. That's the Tennyson family. Lake County Honor Flight. And also Stars and Stripes Honor Flights. Northern Illinois Council on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse. 5-Star Race Car Bodies. Couple weeks, we're going to be live at 5-Star Race Car Bodies. Stay tuned for that big event. It's going to be just prior to the World of Outlaw late models coming to the Wilmot Raceway on Monday, July the 29th. Nielsen Enterprises. Libertyville Manor. Generations of Care. Young at Heart Preschool. My day job, if you want to call it that, over in Libertyville. Bill Fustang and the fine crew at Lake County Hose and Equipment. And also this coming Saturday on July the 13th, they're going to have the big USO event at Raymond Chevrolet in downtown Antioch. So you can have events up at Wilmot. You can go up there for breakfast. We'll talk about that with Jenny in just a little bit. And then also will be an opportunity for you to possibly meet some race car drivers down at the USO event that's in Antioch. That's going, I think, from about 8 or 9 o'clock till around noon on Saturday. That's, again, at Raymond Chevrolet. So lots of things going on and off the track this coming weekend. And we are waiting now to see if Jenny is going to join us. And while we are waiting on that, we want to remind you, there she is. So we're going to go right to her because I know she's got a little bit of a tight schedule. Jenny, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And we just mentioned there's a lot going on the track and off the track at Wilmot Raceway in the next few days, and fill the folks in on what they can participate in and where they can go for more information and tickets and all that kind of good stuff.
Awesome. Well, starting Thursday, we have a lot of campers moving in, and we have some on our off-track events going on. So we have a DJ coming in, and we'll have a Wisconsin fish fry going on that will take place near our concession stand and our bar. And we'll be jamming to some music, having some fish fries, some bar, and just enjoying ourselves for the evening. We'll also have a campfire for everybody to enjoy if they're camping or even if they're not camping. So anybody can come on out for that. And then moving into Saturday, we kick off the day with some baked goods at the concession stand. We open up our concession stand early for people to come over and enjoy some lunchtime foods if they're not tailgating already. And then the pits open about 2 p.m. and grandstands open about 4 p.m. for our Federated Auto Parts Larry Hillrood Memorial Badger 40. That's both taking place. We have a 2-night show this year, so Friday night and Saturday night racing. Tickets can be found at www.SLS Promotions, and you can get tickets still. They are going fast, so we are getting very limited on what we have available for Friday and Saturday. But if you aren't able to attend the races, come on out for our after party show. We're going to have bands playing on Friday night and Saturday night. Friday night is a Nashville recording artist who is coming in. It's called Eli Elger and the Faster Horses. So they'll be out here on Friday night for a show for people to enjoy, where there'll be beer and drinks and food as well during that time frame. And then on Saturday night, it's called Red Rocket. They are a older rock band. They'll be playing music for Saturday night as well for the after party of the World of Outlaws 2-day show for us. So definitely a jam-packed weekend. We're going to have a scavenger hunt going on for the kiddos and adults if they want to participate. And we'll also be having what is happening on Saturday? We'll be having a race gear, what do you want to call it? Like a dress up that you best dressed. So bring your race gear out and dress up to however you want to look. And there's a contest for that you can win money to spend at our souvenir stand. And then something that's really cool that's happening this year is we're going to have a pancake breakfast on Saturday morning that is sponsored by the Anderson's Pure Maple Syrup, who is also one of the largest sponsors for Bill Baylog. Who will be racing with us over the course of the 2 days, and he'll have an autograph session and be selling his maple syrup at our pancake breakfast, and that is open to the general public from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And it has pancakes, sausage, eggs, milk, cheese, you name it, a little bit of everything for people to enjoy while they come on out to our racetrack for a full day of events. So yeah, we're very excited for the upcoming event. We can't thank our sponsors enough, and we can't thank all our volunteers enough to make this event happen for us over the course of the next 4 days, starting here on Thursday. We already had our first camper pull in today.
There you go. And we had Bill Baylog on our program last week, and we were talking with him. Anderson's maple syrup is my wife's favorite. And she's looking forward to Saturday already. Although I must admit, we had some waffles with Anderson's maple syrup just 2 days ago, so we don't have to wait till Saturday. But
that's so true, yes.
It is really good maple syrup. If you haven't yet had it, you got to come out Saturday. It's a great atmosphere to have it. It's the first time we've had this kind of event at Wilmot Raceway, and Bill is looking forward to being a little bit more relaxed and meeting with fans and talking to them and that kind of thing, and they get a close look at his car. And, for a while there on Saturday. So just a lot of fun. We're looking forward to this weekend at the Wilmot Raceway. And again, if you need information, you can go to wilmotraceway.com for a lot of the event information. Also, the World of Outlaws have it on their website. Even the events that we're having during the day, it's posted on there as well. One thing I've had a few folks ask, Jenny, you mentioned you got your first camper already pulled in. There's other people that are already buying camping spots. How many camping spots do you have left? Is it like they're almost gone? It's like if you want one, you better speak up.
Yes, you say it very well. We actually just did our evaluation today, and we are sitting at 8 sites left out of our 100+ sites that we have available. So we are down to our final few sites of, I think we only have like one 50 amp site left, and the rest are 30 amps. So they are going fast, just like the tickets. So if anybody wants to camp, by all means, call us, email us, go online and book. But yeah, they're getting very limited right now.
And this has just grown to be a great event. I know this was a dream of the late Larry Hillrood, who just did a lot of things. And I'm actually going to put Jeremy to work now. He thought he was just going to sit here for the first half hour. This is a photo that I have of Larry Hillrood. Try to get it out of so that it's not. That's Larry after he won a feature event at Wilmot Raceway. I guess I'd have to sneak a peek at the year that's in that photo. That's our starter at that time was Chuck Olson. his Chuck's son was racing with us in street stocks just a couple of years ago. But it's kind of cool to have a victory lane photo of Larry, that I'm fortunate enough to still have in my possession, and it is down in my memorabilia area. I might sneak it out to the track Saturday or Friday, but I don't want it to disappear. So Larry talked to me, and I've shared this story before. He talked to me about bringing the World of Outlaws into Wilmot, probably 15, 20 years ago in the infield at Knoxville. And he said, Mike, do you think we could have a World of Outlaws show at Wilmot Raceway? Do you think it would work? And we talked the whole night. We weren't watching a lot of the races at Knoxville that day. We were talking about the World of Outlaws coming to Wilmot. And, it was Larry's dream to do that, to bring them to his home track. And he's had a lot of success with that. Unfortunately, we lost him 3 years ago. But he's still with us each and every year when we put on the event. And from the long range forecast, and I always hate to jinx us.
Don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud.
Beautiful. I'm not even going to say that word. But Larry's watching over us this weekend, I got a feeling. And all 3 days are going to be great. And if you're still there on Sunday, the flea market's going on. So you never know what you might find at the flea market. You might find some racing memorabilia. You never know. But again, we're looking forward to this event this weekend. Jenny, I know that you and everybody associated with Wilmot Raceway and the Kenosha County Fair have worked very hard at putting this all together. It's all coming together just right. And I'm proud to be a part of it and looking forward to it. And we're going to have on a very special guest a little bit later. John Gibson, the voice of the World of Outlaws, is going to be joining us the last part of the program tonight. And I know he's got a lot of memories from Wilmot as well, and of Larry Hillerud. So we're looking forward to that. I know you've got a tight schedule. One more time, email, phone number, any way people need to get in touch with you as far as the camping sites and also the off-track events. And I know SLS Promotions is handling all the ticket sales, pit passes, all that kind of thing.
Yep. Call us at 262-862-6121 or go to www.wilmotraceway.com and we'll gladly answer any questions on there as well, or you can check it out on there.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jenny. And
of course. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds great.
All right. That's Jenny Hesse joining us from the Kenosha County Fair and Wilmot Raceway. And, a great event this weekend. There's going to be stuff going on the track, off the track, you name it. It's going to be happening. Wilmot Raceway is where you want to be the next 3 days, starting on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Of course, the World of Outlaws have their makeup event tomorrow night up at Beaver Dam that got rained out earlier in the season. So they're going to start out at Beaver Dam tomorrow night and finish up that event. And then moving on to Wilmot for Friday and Saturday racing and off-track activities Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So plan on joining us. Going to shift gears now, so to speak, and we're going to talk some drag racing with John joining us from Great Lakes Dragaway, John Reidenbach. And John, welcome to the program. You did an excellent job, you and Randy and the entire crew at Great Lakes Dragaway last Saturday for the Night of Fire. We had a night off from Wilmot Raceway, so my wife Kathy and I came up. Kathy, a first-timer when it came to the jet cars. Had never seen them before, and it was just an awesome show. You guys did a great job, and it was fun watching you, John. I got to watch you race.
Yeah, finally got to see me go down the track. Yeah, luckily I was able to go down the track because that was 4th of July. I ended up breaking the input shaft on the transmission. So I had a spare transmission torque converter. I had to swapping that out on July 5th. Got it ready to go. So it made it, and it ran good. So I was happy with the performance. So yeah, it was a good turnout. A lot of spectators, good weather. So yeah, it was a great event.
And Billy Fusting, who was on with us last week from Great Lakes Dragaway, he was also there He had his co-driver, Mark, drive the car a couple of times, I guess, on Saturday. But then Bill got behind the wheel the final run, and correct me if I'm wrong, he won it, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Bill did great. Yeah, he's definitely had that car for a while, and he knows how that car goes, and he made a nice clean hit. The track was working great for everybody. A couple guys did even though the air wasn't perfect, they had a couple of record passes, but my car was running really good also. So it was a good, fun event.
Bill with Lake County Hose and Equipment, and we certainly thank he and his wife Kim for their support of our program here, helping to bring us each and every week, and especially you folks up at Great Lakes Dragway. Randy and his wife, great supporters of us, and we appreciate that very much. As a matter of fact, tentatively next Wednesday, I plan on getting your two announcers on the program. We're going to talk some more racing from Great Lakes Dragway, because Wilmot is off the weekend of the 20th of July. I'm kind of glad we're off, because my McGinty family reunion up at Cabins on the Lake in Friendship, Wisconsin is that weekend. So I get to go to the family reunion. But I know you guys have some racing coming up, not only this week, but talk a little bit again about what you got coming up on the 20th of July.
Okay, so the 20th of July is the Chicago Show and Go. That's going on with the bigger cars, the big tired car, big wheel cars. It's a really good show. A lot of cars show up. It's really neat. Some of them going down the track, and a lot of them to see. I mean, these things are really, really beautiful, what they put into them. They invest a lot of money in these cars, and they're neat to look at. It's a fun day, and it's a filled event. It's usually packs them in there pretty good here. So there's quite a bit to see that day.
And then looking on the schedule here, let's see, that was, I think, the wrong day I was looking at. That was back in June. I see a Ford Fun Day. You've got some other events coming up. Go ahead and highlight those. I mean, Great Lakes Dragway is in operation as long as Mother Nature cooperates, at least 6 days a week. And sometimes with the holidays, you might even go 7 days. So tell the folks a little bit about what you've got coming up. And I know tomorrow night is ladies' night, every Wednesday. I got that down pat, John.
Yes. Yeah. And they're actually ahead a little bit now. So they've been doing good. Wednesday night, yeah, that's great. Women get in for free, or race for free if they want to. They do the bracket race. And then what we have going on this week also is Thursday is always our slicks and drag radial night, where they prep the track for strictly slicks and drag radial cars. But then we have an early day this Friday, and it's slicks only for testing, because this Saturday is going to be this nitrous streetcar brawl in Wisconsin Outlaw Street. So we bring in this Total Venue Concepts. They come in, they prep the track, put a lot of glue on it, and get it prepped right for these outlaw drag radial cars. So Friday, that's going to be only a slicks only test and tune, and it's an early day. So that's a nice day to come out and spectate, because you see some really fast cars. That's incredible what they can do on a 10.5-inch tire. But they're going to be doing a lot of testing on Friday for the race on Saturday, which will be during the streetcar brawl. And the track is going to be prepped with like I say, with a little bit, probably a little bit more glue for the radial tired cars. And there's some fast stuff. I was surprised. It's a really good race to watch on Saturday too, because it's a heads up race. They have an index that they end up that they can't go faster than, but it's fun to watch. It's the racing is 8th mile racing, and those guys they're right next to each other right at the 8th mile. It's pretty exciting.
Well, and one thing that was interesting last week too, and I guess I'll date myself a little bit, and that's okay. It was great to see Danny Sullivan there with the Chicago Rush, because years ago, and I don't know if you were aware of this, John, Broadway Bob used to bring cars a lot of times to my car show at Lakehurst. And one of the years, and I was really impressed, because afterwards Kathy and I went and chatted with him. Danny remembered that Broadway Bob brought Danny and the Chicago Rush to Lakehurst for the car show. And the actual car that was in the car show, Danny goes, "It's not this one." We were standing by the one that had made the run on Saturday night. He goes, "It's in the trailer. It's still partially together," but he goes, "I got to finish putting it together." And he goes, I'll have it together, and it may make some runs eventually." but he says that car that I was there with is still here, and it's still used from time to time. And I swear the Chicago Rush and Danny Sullivan came to Lakehurst. It was probably in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
If not,
Lakehurst, that's going back pretty far.
I don't even know if he was born.
I was there.
Jeremy probably was there.
Yeah,
Jeremy used to come to those car shows a lot. But it was just neat. We had a nice visit with Danny, and he remembered me. He remembered the show. We got a nice photo taken with him, and we're going to have him on the podcast here sometime in the very near future. So folks are going to have to keep an eye out for that, because we're going to do that. And speaking of the rocket cars, on Sunday, you always say Sunday's kind of a fun day, a kind of a relaxed day. There's no real, quote, bracket racing going on. People are just kind of coming out, doing some tested tunes. You never know what you might see. I understand this last Sunday, you had a rocket make a few passes.
Yeah, testing. Yeah, I have a couple make the jet cars. Yeah, I have them do a little testing for. They did the Night of Fire. This Sunday, we've got Import Wars coming back for from 10 to 6. So that's pretty entertaining to watch, too. It's amazing what those small cars, how quick they are. Some of them, they use the little Toyota Starlets, and they'll put a rotary engine in it with a turbocharger that's as big as the engine. And those things are usually stick shift cars, and they're running low 7 seconds, maybe even a high 6-second ET with those things. They're pretty entertaining.
Well, and there's just so much motorsports going on in the next 7 days in the southern Wisconsin area. June sprints are going on at Road America starting Thursday, with practice Thursday and Friday, a competition Saturday and Sunday. My good friend Eric Miller is going to be calling it up there this weekend. You've got things going on at Great Lakes Dragway. Obviously, we've got things going on at Wilmot. The Slinger Nationals are literally tonight up there in Slinger. And they're hoping to get everything in tonight. I hope that Mother Nature cooperates and they can get it all in tonight. And then we got the World of Outlaws going to Beaver Dam tomorrow. Actually, at Beaver Dam tonight, they're racing tonight. It's kind of a fan appreciation night. They got, I think, 4 or 5 divisions. My good friend Ray Underwood calling the action up there. It's just if you like motorsports of any kind, this is your weekend in southern Wisconsin, southeastern Wisconsin. We just got done with the NASCAR race in Chicago last week, and now that's going fairly well. It went better this year, I think, than last year. Mother Nature still threw her curveball and let them deal with some water and some wet track conditions. But I think it was a pretty good show from what I watched both Saturday and Sunday. I kind of thought the Xfinity race was decent on Saturday, and the Cup race was decent on Sunday.
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of neat, like you say, around this area. We got one of the guys that came out to our out-of-sight drags that's from California, and he's a Famoso Speed Shop guy. That's Randy Winkle, and he's like looking to find a house somewhere around here in the Midwest, because he says you guys during the summer have so much going on. Even though he's out in California, you think about the March meet and all the other things. He says you guys have so much going on, especially with the nostalgia stuff around this area. He said he's looking for a place to hang out in the summer and do some racing around here. So it's kind of neat.
Now, once again, before we let you go, people you want to thank, and did you win in your group this weekend, or did you end up second? I must admit, I kind of lost track as who was on first and who was on second. I was just enjoying watching the cars go up and down the track.
I had some of the most fun racing I did this weekend. Out of 4 passes I did against the guy I was racing, I beat him every time. Twice he red lit, but then a couple of the other times I did beat him, and it's a fun race because we were within a half a mile an hour of each other going through the traps at 151, 152 miles an hour. We're right next to each other. In fact, I didn't even know that I won the one race. It was so close, but yeah, I ended up beating him. But he's I don't think I'll be beating him next time. His car's a lot lighter than mine. He's got a lot of power, but yeah, we had a blast. I had a good time.
And again, folks that want more information on Great Lakes Dragway, a phone number, a website, go ahead and give them that information. Okay,
Great Lakes Dragway, you go to greatlakesdragway.com. We also got a real active Facebook page. And there's also on the website, there's a couple the phone number you can call is like a 262-302-2138. And like I say, real active on the Facebook. page, what's going on there. That's been pretty good, and we have the main schedule right on their website, so we can see what's going on.
Well, Jeremy, that's sitting next to me, I know he's known for his 410 sprint car racing because he drives the number 42 at Wilmot with the IRA, and he's going to run with the World Outlaws this weekend. But he also, I know, has been known to make a trip up to Great Lakes Dragway more than once. Go ahead.
We get there on occasion.
Yeah.
Different things going on. I got my stepdad's got a few cars too. He's been up there testing and see what happens. It's all about testing and getting things dialed in.
Have you ever driven on at the drag strip?
Years ago. Yep. Right out of high school, we would come up there and play around a lot. And I think when my sprint car career is done, that's probably my next move is something like that.
Now, what about your wife? I know she's got a lot of very nice cars that she likes to take to car shows.
She don't want to scratch them. Accidents do happen, so she'll keep them at the shows. That's about it.
All right.
Yeah, I'll probably be out here testing myself Thursday because I'd switched recently, took the carburetors off of my car. I got a 871 blower on. I had carburetors on, and I switched it to a Hilborn 4-port mechanical injection, and I'm on gasoline, not on alcohol. And I got to get the tune right a little bit better. It's great going down the track, but I got a little bit too much of a blower surge at idle there, and I try to lean it out and take care of it. But I gotta dial it in, so I'm gonna probably be out Thursday making some passes with it.
That'd be fun.
Well, and also one more reminder. I know John's got it down on his calendar and is going to see what he can do about getting some cars there from Great Lakes Dragway. Saturday, July 27th, we're going to have a motorsports and custom car show, kind of a cruise type thing on a Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Hartnell Chevrolet there in technically Paddock Lake, just over from Culver's. And
yes.
Folks from Culver's are going to be involved with it as well. So, again, that's 11 to 2. We are racing at Wilmot that night with an all sprint car show. And then Great Lakes Dragway is also racing that night, but we're going to try to get some cars from both organizations, both groups, to come on out to Hartnell Chevrolet on the 27th. And because when you really get down to it, we all just love racing. We all love motorsports, and we're all good neighbors to each other. And that's what we need to be, because we can all help each other. And I really enjoy the cooperation I've gotten from you, John, and from Randy and from his wife and everybody at Great Lakes Dragway and working with us, even though, obviously my home track is Wilmot, where I've been like forever. Yeah. But we all do work together, and that's the name of the game.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you out here Saturday. I'm glad you could come out and enjoy the show with your wife. Yeah.
Well, we will be back. I guarantee you, we will be back. Thanks a lot, John, and we'll be talking to you again soon.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk to you. Yeah.
Bye-bye. That was John Reidenbach joining us with our weekly report from Great Lakes Dragway, and it was an awesome event last Saturday with the Night of Fire, with the rocket cars, with all kinds of. I mean, we saw speeds, Jeremy, at close to 300 miles an hour, and unreal for a quarter of a mile track. Before we bring in our next guest, we do want to remind you. You've only got a few days left if you are going to vote for the Southeastern Wisconsin Short Track Racing Hall of Fame. Voting is now open. You can go to their Facebook page, their website, request a ballot. Again, I was fortunate enough to be inducted last year into the Hall of Fame. Steve Sinclair has been inducted in the Hall of Fame just a couple of years ago. Carmen Manzardo, Joe Rowe, Gib Weiser, Bob Roble. I know I'm forgetting people, but there's a lot of people in short track racing and connected with Wilmot Raceway that have been inducted over the years. Of course, two of the founders, Whitey Harris and Ray Toft, the late Whitey Harris and the late Ray Toft, two of the original founders of the IRA. They are also in the Hall of Fame, and we're working on getting Junior Dodd in there. He's the third founder. He belongs in there too. So we'll see what we can do trying to get him in the near future. But you can vote now. And like I even say with the re-elections, if you want to call it a re-election, if you don't vote, don't complain. So you can vote for the Hall of Fame. Go on their website. Vote now. Okay, we're going to bring in two females. Next up, I think they're supposed to both be on. And we're just waiting for Drew to see if he can bring him out of the green room. And there we've got Trinity, UTEC, and I think we're going to bring in Kenzie Mall at the same time as the plan. There she is. Kenzie and Rob Mall joining us. And welcome to the program. We had a little history. I don't know if you caught it on Sunday, I think it was. The Chicago Cubs game was nationally televised by an all-female crew of broadcasters. Well, I've got an all-female crew of guests right now. Jeremy, go away.
I'm just supervising you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
YouTube now. But no, welcome, ladies, to the program. It's great to have ladies. And we're going to start off with the older one, if you want to call it that. She's all of 20. We're going to start it off with Trinity. Trinity, tell us a little bit about your racing career and where it's at now and where it's headed.
Gosh. So I started racing go-karts when I was 6 years old. I started racing at Badger Kart Club, which is in Dowson, Wisconsin. I did that with my dad for a few years and then was a little bit of an only child for a while until my sister Mackenzie came along. Unfortunately, then became a two-man show, which was a little rough for me. I liked my privacy with my dad. It was always fun with that, my mom and my dad. But then we started racing wingless sprint cars started testing when I was 16. When I was 17, I started racing full-time. And then, this past weekend I got 2 top 10s at Beaver Dam and Wilmot. Unfortunately, had some issues at Angel Park, but that's okay. Racing comes with that. And hopefully we'll do well at the World of Outlaw show this weekend.
And, I must confess, well, first of all, I'm going to give folks a little bit of time to jot their answers down on paper. Your dad and I chatted for a while last night, Trinity, and her dad is Scott. I'm not going to explain where everybody fits in the UTEC racing family tree yet. I'm going to give you that in a little bit. So get your paper and pen out, and you jot down how many of the UTECs you remember, and if you can figure out how they're related. And I'm going to give you the answer according to Scott a little bit later on in the program. I don't even know if Trinity will get this correct, but we'll see what happens. We're going to shift over to Kenzie now. Kenzie and Rob Mall, and they're at their shop out there in the thriving metropolis of Hebron, Illinois, which is actually a hotbed for racing, right, Rob?
Yeah, like per capita, I'm sure it's probably the biggest in the Midwest. At one time, like population of 1,000, and at one time we had like 14 people that raced at different racetracks in the area. So,
and
kind of crazy. You hear like in the spring, you always hear everybody's cars starting up at different places around, and like everybody test driving them on the back roads.
Right, and Iron Steer picked up the win at Wilmot on last Monday. Picked it up in the winged 604s, his first winged sprint car win, and that was exciting for him and very emotional for him, I must say, in Victory Lane. And I know whenever I drive through Hebron, I drive by his shop, and it's always kind of neat to see and to see what he's up to at that time. And now I know where your homestead is, just down the road, not too far from him. And Kenzie, tell us a little bit about your racing career, where it's at, and where it's headed. And first of all, how young are you? I mean, Trinity, I already revealed she's 20, right, Trinity? Dad got the age right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Kenzie, how old are you?
I'm 12, almost 13.
12 and almost 13. And you've been racing for how long?
I've been racing for 5 seasons now. I've raced 3 seasons in a flat cart, 1 season in a outlaw wing cart, and now I'm racing bandoleros at Jefferson Speedway and all over the place.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool. And your dad raced, had success in street stocks, won championship number 5 last year, and he won't say he's retired because I don't think he is retired. I don't think race car drivers. He's just taking a little hiatus and who knows for how long. We might see him in something this year. You never know. But what got you interested in racing? Was it watching Dad, or or did you have another idea even before watching Dad?
So it was watching my dad and my grandpa both race their cars. I was watching my grandpa race his vintage modified, and I've been watching him since I was a little baby. So I just got kind of used to it. So I really wanted one, and for my birthday, my parents got me a little go-kart that we raced on this track over here.
Okay,
And then I started getting into it.
yeah, and I know Grandpa's name, but our listeners may not, our viewers may not. What's your Grandpa's name that you first started out watching?
Calma.
Calmall. And so we actually got kind of three generations in the photo at the bottom of our screen here of racers. And we're going to get to Trinities. We got a lot more than three, I can tell you that, in the UTEC land. Now, you've moved into the Bandoleros this year, having some success up there at Jefferson. Now, what are your thoughts? Are you going to move into something like a wingless car like Trinity's running? Are you going to move into a street stock like Dad raced? Are you going to work into a modified like Dad raced? Do you want to go big boy? Do you want to run with the NASCAR Xfinity or the Cups? I mean, the sky's the limit.
No. I'm not sure what I'm gonna race yet. He says he's never gonna put me into a street stock though.
Well, he
So.
might. Somebody else might own the car and put you in it.
Yeah, right. We'll let you flip the bill on that one.
There you go. Well, and I do want to touch on this before I forget. When we had you at the car show, we had hoped to have you in the car show, and things came up. You had a great organization that participated in the car show back in April down at the lakefront in Waukegan. Tell us a little bit about that group, what they do, and I know they've got a big event coming up, a big fundraiser coming up in a couple of weeks, I think.
So Riddick's Ride is an organization that sells like parts for disabled kids. So they had a son, Riddick, and he was disabled and stuff, and they couldn't afford the part.
Riddick's Ride, their main thing is they have a lending garage, because some of these children that have like complex medical conditions, the equipment's insanely expensive, and it's disgusting how much stuff insurance won't cover. Like, an insurance company believes that it's okay for your child to just lay on the floor and eat its dinner. So what they do is they get donations. They have a big warehouse, and they use both goods donations and monetary donations, and they buy equipment. They have a lending program because, unfortunately, some of these kids aren't with us for very long. So it keeps the expensive equipment, the chairs, the beds, strollers, like there's specialized equipment for them to go travel in vehicles. It gets pretty rough on the families, so they help with getting people the equipment they need that they can try to give their kid like a good quality of life. And then if and when the day comes you're not using it anymore, they get it to another family that needs it. So
that's an awesome,
it's a great organization, really.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed meeting them at the car show back in April, and we definitely want to try to get them on the show before their walk that's coming up, I think, in a couple of weeks. And anything that we can do to help promote that event on the program here, or that I can mention up in Wilmot, we certainly will pass that on, and I'll get the information to the announcers over at Great Lakes Dragaway too, because I think it's a great organization to do. Do you know offhand a website or anything people can go to for more information?
I mean, like, really the best, it seems, is to just utilize Facebook for Riddick's Ride. They keep all their information up to date on there. They do like blood drives, and like they have their lending garage days. They have the days that you can donate to the lending garage. they do different things like within the community, like cleanups and stuff like that. But the actual ride itself is going to be taken off from Nico's old mill in Woodstock, Illinois. And they head out west towards the Mississippi to scenic overpass out that way. And they have like deals with the hotels out there for like group discounts and stuff for everybody to spend the night out there. It's really good. Like, I mean, the organization just like nothing goes anywhere hidden. Everything gets turned into products that people need, and it gets into those people's hands. There's no, grants for education or grants for research or nothing like that. It's all actual hard goods that people need.
Okay, well, that's great. And again, that's Riddick's Ride. Go to the Facebook page, check it out, support them. Heck, if you're able to, even participate in the ride or part of the ride. I know that you don't have to do the entire distance. You can do part of it. And with it beginning in Woodstock, maybe you go Woodstock to Marengo or something like that, and and that's fine. I mean, that they'll be happy with that. So again, help support.
We're gonna have Mackenzie's race car down there for like the kickoff of the ride, but I stick to 4 wheels, not 2. But we are looking if there's a couple out there that have motorcycles that are listening to this and they want to go represent us, I'll pay 2 of the people's registration fees if they want to go on our behalf on the ride. I don't ride motorcycles.
All right. Well, I happen to know a number of guys that I officiate with, and that ride. So we'll see off air what I can do for you. So appreciate that, Rob. We're going to shift over to Trinity now, and now it's time to reveal the UTEC family tree. Okay. Question number 1, and Kenzie or Rob, if you want to answer, just raise your hand, and I'll call on you. Who is Scott? Trinity, you don't answer. Rob.
Trinity's dad.
Okay, Trinity's dad. All right, we got that one straight. Who is, pay close attention now to how I say this name. Who is Jim? Jeremy just said something, which is probably the correct answer. But remember, what did I just say? Jim. Nobody knows.
Got me on that.
Trinity, you better know. Who is Jim?
My grandpa.
Grandpa. It's Scott's dad. Now, who is Jimmy?
Gotta be an uncle.
I've given it away if you paid attention. If Jim is her
Gotta be an uncle.
Jimmy is uncle. Jimmy is uncle. Correct. Jimmy is Scott's brother. Do I have that right, Trinity?
Older brother.
Older brother. There you go. Now, who is Chuck? Trinity's looking at notes. I don't think
I don't know if anyone would get this one because this one's kind of distant.
This is a while ago. This is quite a while ago. Jeremy doesn't know who Chuck is.
This is like early IRA.
Yeah, very early IRA. Okay, Chuck, if I've got my note written down on my chicken scratch here from Scott, Chuck is Jimmy's cousin.
My grandpa Jim's cousin.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, and he did race in the very, very early days of the IRA.
Yep.
Very early days. Now, back up. Who is George?
This one's still kind of distant.
This one's back there too, a little ways, but who is George? Nobody knows except Trinity. All right, Trinity, tell them who George is.
My grandpa's brother.
Grandpa's brother. Yes, George did race. George actually raced before Chuck, if I remember correctly. I don't know if George ever won a championship. Chuck did in the early days of the IRA. And now, who is Danny? Who is Danny Utek? Kenzie and Rob are looking at each other. Jeremy's like, the steam's coming out of Jeremy's ears next to me.
Shit.
Okay.
Cracking me up.
Another uncle.
Danny is another uncle. Danny is another uncle. And the last one, unless there's some more, and there may be more someday, you never know. Who is Dave? A cousin. Jeremy just said a cousin. Do you know how many cousins removed? Trinity, I think, does.
It's my dad's cousin.
Dad's cousin. Dad's cousin. So it'd be Trinity's second cousin. It'd be Trinity's second cousin.
You know, we were up at Kenzie raced her Bandolero up at State Park Speedway 2 weeks ago up in Wausau, Wisconsin, and there was a UTEC that raced up there as well. They're everywhere.
Yeah, my roommate actually was at that same race, and she texted me about it, but I'm not sure how that UTEC is related to me. I'm not sure if it's like directly or if they just have the same last name, or I don't know how that UTEC is related to us.
We'll have to do some investigating on that one.
And also
All right.
my sister Mackenzie races as well. She races go-karts at Dousman still, at Badger
All
Park.
right.
So we have a few more UTECs as well that race.
There we go. We got more. So you guys will confuse me even more when you all come on the track together. We're just going to have a UTEC race next year. All
We should.
UTECs are going to be in a heat
It's just
race.
gonna be a family reunion every weekend.
There you go. Well, we're going to go to Trinity now. People to thank that get you to the racetrack and help sponsor the number 7. And we'll obviously look forward to seeing you at Wilmot this week.
Yep, so Shear Construction, Drexel Building Supply, Sam I Am, Mr. Jim's Racing, Bailing, QA1, Hefner Race Products, Ultra Shield, Simpson, and then Pure Vita. And don't forget to use my code TrinityUTech20 for all of your purchases. You get 20% off.
When Trinity is not racing, she's going to college. Where are you going to college, and what are you going to college for?
I go to school in Whitewater. I'm going to school for sports marketing. So hopefully I'll do something with racing if it works out that way.
You know, I need somebody to write press releases. You could probably do that and still drive a race car. We could work something out here.
I could.
All right, now down to Kenzie. Kenzie, people you want to thank getting your Bandolero to Jefferson each week and all over the country.
I'd like to thank Riddick's Ride, Ostergaard Family, Franklin Tap Solutions, Hoops Bar and Grill, Offsides, Beef Village, Tape Performance, Burlington Hobbies, Courtney Clark, 5 Star, Quality Tire, Jack's Helmet Designs, Grandma's Pet Sitting Service, Race Art by Cal, Smoke and Pig Express, S&N Synthetics, J&G Brake Drum Realigning, Mortgage Jokes Farm, FSC Designs, Motorsport Powder Coating, Massive Speed, 19 Cycle Works, Hammond Racing, and Jessica Sivia and Independence Sensi. And you can find us on all of your favorite social media platforms.
The 99 car.
The 99 car,
That's the
all one
important part.
word.
The 99 car. That's how they find you.
I didn't finish yet. You never let me finish anything.
Too bad we can't mute Dad.
Yes, please do.
All right. Well, thank you, Trinity. Thank you, Kenzie. Thank you, Rob. We're going to, Jefferson is one of the few tracks that I've never been to or announced at. So I'm going to have to see if I can't get up there one of the nights that you're racing and we're not racing at Wilmot, and take in Kenzie racing. And who knows, maybe if I talk nice to them, they'll let me call a race.
There you go.
I've actually heard that Jefferson is one of the hardest asphalt tracks that you could race at.
I have heard that too.
For like any
I have heard that too.
It's a very technical track. They put on a good show because it's so it's tough. It's technical. So they put on like all the divisions there are pretty racy. It's a good time.
Okay, and they race on
It's
Saturday.
not dirt track, but,
Race Saturday, practice
Yep,
Wednesday. If the date's right.
Yeah. Yep,
Okay.
practice on Wednesday. The race Saturday. Races start at 6 o'clock sharp. Kenzie's usually one of the first couple races up. So.
All righty. Well, again, thank you guys very much. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kenzie and Rob taking in some racing or some of the other events at Wilmot in the next few days. I know they come out as a spectator quite a bit from time to time when they can. And Trinity, we'll see you on the racetrack on Friday night.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay. We're now going to shift gears to the World of Outlaws. We've got in studio or live guest, if you want to call it that. He's been very patient here, Jeremy Schroeder, and I believe going to come out of the green room. We're just waiting for him to pop up there on the screen. Is a very special guest of ours, and we appreciate that he's taken the time joining us.
All right,
Johnny Gibson, the voice of the World of Outlaws, who is probably one of the busiest guys there is in the world of motorsports throughout the year. And definitely in the state of Wisconsin the next few days. Johnny, welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Great to be back in Wisconsin for 3 big nights of World of Outlaws action this week.
And he's been very patient. I don't know how much you've seen of the show in the green room, but Jeremy's been sitting here since actually before we went on the air and been taking all this in. But Jeremy's going to be on the racetrack. Johnny's going to be announcing him in the next few days. And Jeremy, tell the folks a little bit about your racing and your plans in the next few days with the World of Outlaws.
It's been a rough start to the season. Had a lot of mechanical issues. Lost an engine to last Outlaw race at Beaver Dam. Just hoping to get back at it and have some better luck. And hopefully the weather sticks out for us.
And now with you running with the bumper-to-bumper IRA sprint cars, you got in some time at Beaver Dam, aside from the World of Outlaw show. And, of course, you've had some time at Wilmot aside from the World of Outlaw show. How much of an advantage, or is there an advantage for you over the guys that are traveling that only come in there once a year, twice a year?
Hands down, they'll still beat us, Mike. They're getting a lot of laps per year. Yeah, all you can do is try and make the show. That's our goal, is to make the show and do the best we can.
And Johnny, I know that you've been around the World of Outlaws for how many years now? How many years is it this year?
This is actually my 30th year working for the World of Outlaws and my 28th season as the series announcer.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I've enjoyed working with you, particularly when you come into Wilmot. We have a lot of fun there. And I was talking earlier when we had Jenny on, the event at Wilmot was Larry Hillerud's dream. He wanted to bring a World of Outlaws sprint car race to Wilmot. And I can still remember one of the first times that he did bring it in. He and Tom Deary was working with Dirt at the time. They both came up to me afterwards and they said, Mike, this was more than we expected. They sold out the place, great crowd and enthusiastic crowd. And Johnny, I know that you're at a lot of tracks, a lot of venues, even Knoxville. Knoxville, of course, very unique. But I think Wilmot, the home of the IRA, the home of sprint car racing in the state of Wisconsin, always brings the fans out.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I think if any track up here can support a multiple day show, we're going to the two that can. Beaver Dam obviously was scheduled for 2 nights earlier this year. Mother Nature ruined the second night, so we'll make that up tomorrow night. And then it is so cool to be able to come to Wilmot for 2 nights because the support that you mentioned there, just absolutely fantastic. Some of the greatest fans that we see all season long and some of the most knowledgeable sprint car fans that we see. And I want to point out, the cool thing about coming back to Wilmot is the fact that things never stay the same there. There are always improvements being made. The new grandstands last year and the new press box and now a new front stretch wall, a new catch fence. Again, Wilmot really has stepped up their game over the last few years to join the list of elite tracks at the greatest show on dirt visits.
That's for sure. And I'm fortunate enough to be there every week. And get to announce there, and that's my home. It's literally about 10 minutes from where Jeremy and I are sitting here at my house, and it does. It's had a great history that goes back to 1951 when the track first opened, and goes over 50 years that the IRA and Steve Sinclair has brought the IRA to new levels and done a fantastic job. And the support class that we're going to have this weekend, the Wisconsin Wingless. has just grown leaps and bounds. We just had Trinity on. She's a second generation, third generation, sixth, seventh generation driver from the UTEC family. And she's only 20 years young, and she's going to be racing this weekend in front of the biggest stage there is for a sprint car driver. Who have you seen now, particularly this year, that have really stepped up their game? We had Gio Scalzi on just before your trip into Beaver Dam. He was on the program with us. We had Bill Baylog on last week. Obviously, he's looking forward to coming to Wilmot. But who are the drivers right now that are the hot drivers with the World of Outlaws that fans want to keep an eye on, both at Beaver Dam tomorrow and at Wilmot Friday and Saturday?
Well, two of the drivers, of course, when it comes to Beaver Dam tomorrow night, you want to talk about Sheldon Hodenshield. He's won 4 of the last 5 races there. He won there when we were here earlier this year. And Sheldon also holds the track record at Beaver Dam. So you're going to keep an eye on the NOS Energy Drink number 17. Now, Sheldon is second with the World of Outlaws in terms of feature wins this season, but he's also mired back in the 7th spot in the point standing. So Sheldon looking to move up in the series standings. But when it comes to Wilmot Raceway, 2 drivers you want to watch. Carson Macedo, winner there last year. He's won the last 2 races at the Wilmot Raceway. And Macedo is currently 3rd in the point standings, just fell to 3rd behind the 10-time series champion, Donnie Schatz. So Macedo looking for a strong couple of nights at Wilmot to maybe reclaim that 2nd position behind the series points leader, who is David Gravel. And Gravel himself is a 4-time feature winner at Wilmot. So the Big Game Motorsports Houston Speedway number 2 be a car to watch as well. So those are the main players to watch this weekend. And of course, Giovanni Selzi, you had him on earlier this year. Fantastic job this season. And what a year Bill Baylog is having, the 10-time IRA champion in his rookie season with the World of Outlaws. I think has impressed a lot of people. I think he's opened up a lot of eyes to just how good the talent is that comes out of the IRA.
That's for sure. And Bill too was one of the most personable guys you ever want to meet in the event that we've got Saturday off track with the Anderson's Maple Syrup pancake breakfast, an opportunity to meet Bill, Steve Anderson, the owner of Anderson's Maple Syrup. I think is going to be awesome. It's just a great opportunity for fans on Saturday morning. Hopefully the racing's nice to Bill on Friday night. Boy, if he's coming off a win at Wilmot on Friday night, I don't know if he'll be ready to have pancakes or not on Saturday. He may not have gone to bed yet, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll tell you, I cannot, because our viewers out there are watching this, and this is a first, Johnny. I've been doing this show for a while. We have your cat behind you, a guest appearance. What is your cat's name?
That is Claude, and he's pretty much social media famous. He doesn't have his own accounts, but I post about him quite often on social media, and that's one of his favorite resting places is right behind me. He's actually technically my girlfriend's cat, but he lives here with me in my motorhome, and he'll be at Beaver Dam tomorrow and Wilmot this weekend. And Claude's great. He's a great companion on the road.
Okay, well, I've got 3 cats too, so I could bring some extra treats if you think I should. I'm sure Claude is well fed.
Yes, he is. Yes.
Well, we're going to shift gears here real quick before we wind up the show. Jeremy, your plans for this weekend? I know you mentioned you're going to run with the World of Outlaws. You're going to do the best you can, but I always like to give a driver an opportunity to thank their marketing partners and their crew members that help to get them to the racetrack each and every week.
I got a few sponsors to thank. Beck Enterprise, MLS Auto Clinic, Lot 31 Auto Sales, Neely's Bar, that's in Ireland. That's actually my cousin's relatives. Jonathan Gainey, Dan Hall, Landon, Andy Lotes, my wife. It's kind of a family and friend deal. Do what we can out of pocket, and sponsors are few and far between nowadays, so a little bit goes a long ways, but just keep sticking with it. That's all we can do.
And I know Jeremy loves to visit with fans afterwards, the number 43 sprinter, so you can look him up in the pits. I know after the races on both Friday and Saturday, the plan is the pits will be open for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to want folks to go and see the bands that are performing. Johnny, your thoughts coming into Wilmot again to kind of wrap things up. And I know I won't get you to do your signature call here because you saved that for when you're on Dirt Vision at the racetrack. But I'll respect that. But I'm looking forward to it both Saturday and or Friday and Saturday. And I may try to make it up to tomorrow. I do have a day job that I got to go to tomorrow during the day, but I'm still going to try to get to Beaver Dam. But your thoughts to kind of wrap things up going into this weekend here in Wisconsin.
I think it should be a fantastic 3 nights of racing. You know, we got 2 very exciting racetracks, little different characteristics for each, a little more banking at Beaver Dam and Wilmot, longer straightaways, the tighter corners. But if I can, I do want to ask Jeremy a question really quickly, because I know he spoke about hoping to make the show and you know, run against the greatest sprint car drivers in the world. But how much does racing with the Outlaws, when they come to town, whether it's making the show or being on the track with them, how much does that help you when the World of Outlaws leave and you're back to the IRA competition? How much does it help you improve your game when it comes to your race program?
It definitely helps. It opens your eyes because they're amazing how much faster they are with the same cars, the same equipment. Like I mentioned before, they're getting so many laps compared to us, but you go into the next IRA show, you feel a little bit faster.
Very cool. Good to hear.
And I'm sure Johnny caught it because he's, no pun intended, Johnny on the spot. But you're going to get to announce a sponsor from Ireland. I don't know if you've ever announced a sponsor from Ireland before, Johnny, but Jeremy's got a sponsor from Ireland. So that's going to be pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Well, we are going to actually close it up this week. I'm going to put Jeremy to work one more time. I don't know if you saw this earlier, Johnny. This is a picture of Larry Hillerud in Victory Lane at Wilmot Raceway back in, I believe it was about 1989. And that's what we're doing the race for at Wilmot this weekend, is for Larry. And until we see you next time, for Johnny, for Jeremy, for myself, Mike Babicz, we wish you a pleasant evening, the best of tomorrows. Remember, kids, just say no to drugs. Thanks, good night, God bless, and let's go racing, everybody.
Yeah.